What's up, guys? It's Stops with Weekend Warriors. Welcome to our second episode of today, and this is episode 8 of our XCOM 2 War of the Chosen campaign. I hope you guys are having an amazing Christmas day. I hope you guys got a chance to check out our earlier episode posted today as well. So, here's a quick look at what else going on in the Avenger. We're going to be spending a little bit of time on the overworld map, getting some stuff done. Yeah, I know. It sucks. You get to listen to me ramble on for a limited amount of time. So let's go ahead and do this ambush scan over here. We are struggling in the supplies department quite a bit. I'm wanting to try to get rid of the first chosen before we open another area up. That way we don't end up with multiple chosen active at the same time, because their effects on the Avenger can be pretty harsh. So Central reminding us of the Avatar project. The longer I play this, the more annoying Central gets, I'm not gonna lie. So we finished up Resistance Communications, and we got a breakthrough on modular vector rifles. I'm torn because I want to do the vector rifles, the Gauss weapons, and plated armor. I need all three of those. But we'll probably go ahead and do the breakthrough for now, because that's shortening the amount of time needed. So we'll go ahead and go with that. We're almost done with our covert op as well. We'll go back onto the main map and get this scan done.
Once we've collected sufficient intel to make contact,
need this intel.
we'll need to scan the target region.
So there's that covert op done.
Our people seem to work well together,
Behind
Commander.
enemy lines.
We just received some new intel on the Chosen, Commander.
So that's the first operation needed. So you have to complete 3 different covert ops to actually take out the Warlock. So that's the first one done. The only thing that's actually holding us back right now is soldier ranks. I believe you needed a lieutenant. Yeah, you would need a lieutenant to be able to do the next one. So I think we actually have a couple, but I think at this point they're tired. So we'll go ahead with the recruit engineer. You can always use more engineers. Always. Go ahead and send Panda and Nothing out on this one to get the engineer. Or not. I wish I could do more live commentary, I really do. It's, for whatever reason, anytime I ever try to do live commentary on these, the mic volume has a tendency to be way lower than what it should be, so you can barely hear me. But yeah, there's a lot of the times when I'll say stuff and then it comes to find out that that's not exactly what happened. So we finished up the workshop, which works out pretty well. That'll be nice because we can stuff an engineer in there and we can get 2 free gremlins, which is essentially 2 more engineers. So we stuck it in the center. We're still battling the supplies game to be able to actually build more stuff. The start of this is really rough with us trying to only handle 1 chosen at a time. I didn't realize how difficult, well, not difficult in the sense that it's like really hard, just how supplies starved I would feel in the first couple of months, just simply because of the fact that the Chosen keeps cracking down in the area that we currently have open, reducing our income. And on top of that, in the beginning of the game, it's not like you have a crap ton of supplies income anyways. So, and every time we build a building, that's upkeep. So the struggle is a little real in the supplies department right now. We could also do with a few more scientists and engineers, but not much we can do about that. We go ahead and hand these promotions out.
If you want to know
Carrie
the truth about
Parker
the Templars,
became
I
a
suspect they all might be completely
specialist,
mad. Yes,
and
we've all
then
seen their power, but I don't think
I believe the
I've
guy's name
ever
is
met one
Ling
I'd
Ching.
call rational. Then again, many people would
He became a
question the
grenadier.
ways of the Reaper as well.
So that worked out. I'd like to have 4 of each class. The only ones that it might be a little bit more difficult to have 4 of each would be the hero classes. That's just simply because you have to have high rep with all 3 of the factions. So this was telling me I had an unstaffed engineer. I'm trying to figure out exactly where I want to put him. I think I want to put him down here. Yeah. That way it speeds up that clearing. So with us clearing out those rooms in the Avenger, it also gives us supplies and alien alloys and stuff like that. And that stuff is going to be really, really important when it comes to building like proving ground projects and stuff. So clearing out the Avenger is definitely beneficial for extra supplies and materials to get some of your upgrades done with. I went ahead and staffed one of the engineers that we had in the workshop so I could get these gremlins out. So I'd like to get those shielded power cores unlocked that are near the bottom. Probably gonna end up having to throw another power relay down there just so that we get a little bit more power, because we still gotta get the resistance comms up too. So I'd like to get resistance comms, a lab, a psi lab, and then there's one more building, or 2 more buildings I'd like to have at least. So it's either we go ahead and put another power plant in, or we use those 2 slots to put buildings in so that they don't take any power. The power drain is negated. Let's go check out the black market real quick. Sometimes you can find some pretty good stuff on here. The supplies would definitely be nice. I'm finding that intel for us is a lot easier to come across than supplies are. We'll go ahead and pick up the alien alloys as well. We could have bought another engineer, but I think at this point we have 3 engineers and 3 scientists. Another engineer would be nice for sure, but really we kind of don't have the resources for it. I want to take a look and see if there's anything we could sell out of here. It didn't look like there was, so we'll go back and we'll pick up our supply drop real quick. And probably get warned by Central a couple more times that the aliens are making progress and that we should make resistance comms things. Oh, or we'll get a guerrilla op. This is Operation Hellfire. This is going to counter the sealed armor event, which is not necessarily a incredibly dangerous event for us to counter. I would definitely prefer to counter like rapid response or one of those other ones, but it all works out. Also, I'm pretty sure that we're probably going to end up running into the Warlock on this one. About every 3 to 4 missions from his last encounter, from our last encounter with him, we'll run into him again. I think it's been about 3 or 4. I think it's actually been 3 exactly. Because I think we ran into him in episode 5, and this is episode 8. And there's generally 1 operation per episode. I would actually really like to cram 2 operations in a single episode. It could probably be done if I did time benders through most of it. But I don't necessarily like doing time benders. I think I mentioned once before, I want you guys to see what's going on, and I try to only use them if it's extended periods of slow crawl. And so far, we've not really had many that had extended periods of slow crawl. I think the episode 7 had a little bit in it. That was mostly due to the type of mission it was, with the loss being involved and stuff. So let's see if we can keep our flawless streak alive. This is a simple hack, the workstation, which with specialists we can do at range. So it's not that big of a deal. It's mostly trying to clean out the enemies that we can, so we can get the specialist close enough to actually hack the terminal with the gremlin. And the gremlin is actually the little flying robot that the specialist has. So we went ahead and took Nothing, Lotmare, Panda, and Featherston, as far as the people from Discord that went on this. There's one random as well. Taylor doesn't have anyone assigned to him. So if you guys are actually interested in having a character in this, leave a comment, or if you're in the Discord, get up with me on Discord, and I'll add you in. Jamie Watson actually is one of the unclaimed ones.
We'll need to look for vulnerabilities if we're going to take that thing out.
So she is a tech specialist, and her combat protocol in general actually, which is where that gremlin just flies over, gives a little shock, deals bonus damage to mechanical enemies. So when you seen that right there, that combat protocol was really gonna mess that mech up, like really bad. That's not bad. First move of the game, we find the enemy pod, so that's pretty good. And everyone still, for the most part, has their actions. It's probably not a bad idea to go ahead and just open on this first pod. Go ahead and send out the combat protocol here. This is going to do an insane amount of damage against him. I had almost one-shotted him. I think it dealt 2 initial damage, and then the 3 was the bonus damage against mechs, if I'm not mistaken. So he activates the Overwatch that Lotmare has, and Lotmare unfortunately misses. That Overwatch is so harsh. The good old Panda comes in and cleans it up. So that gets rid of the most dangerous enemy in that pod. So we're safe to move Nothing forward. As we know, the Purifiers, they don't really do much. In fact, I think the only way they can actually damage you is if you're standing out of cover.
Heretics, come forth.
And surprise, surprise. There's Mr. Warlock himself, the annoying guy.
See the face of your ruin.
Been lucky enough that he's not come in and caused a tits-up situation just yet. Which, I mean, giving his attack pattern and stuff that we've seen so far, I don't think he can be horribly dangerous unless we make really, really stupid mistakes. So, Featherston's Overwatch shot nearly kills that Purifier in one go. So now I've got to figure out where I'm going to put Nothing. We don't want him to be too close to that Purifier. Now it's just checking shot chances. I don't think anyone has above a 60 on him, unfortunately.
Stepping off.
You go ahead and move Panda forward. Getting closer to him is going to help the shot chances, but I knew that no matter where I moved Panda in his blue range, it wasn't going to be a decent enough angle. Same goes for Featherston, really. Flatmare also doesn't have a good angle on him, and can't get a good angle on him, actually. So go ahead and move nothing into full coverage, or full cover, and then take this shot here. Then nothing gets him, with no explosion. So it worked out. It all worked out pretty well in the end. Our best friend decided to summon Spectral Zombie. It moves, Lightmare's Overwatch goes off, and unfortunately misses. But the other specialist ends up picking it up.
The elders created them for this very purpose. In that respect, they are.
So one thing about specialist is it seems like, compared to all the classes, their Overwatches are more reliable. And in fact, actually, once you get further down the skill tree, you actually, there's 2 tiers of upgrades that particularly affect specialist Overwatches. There's actually one in which it causes Overwatches, like if you get both of the abilities, it causes their Overwatches to pretty much chain. They get a free Overwatch. I believe it's if they use both of their moves, they get a free Overwatch. And then there's another one where when they trigger an Overwatch, there's a 50% chance that they'll trigger another. So you can actually end up with Overwatch chains if you end up with multiple specialists taking those abilities. It ends up being kind of interesting, really.
Heading to that location. Come get some.
So yeah, at this point it's a little bit of a slow crawl up until we find the next pod. The next pod actually, if I remember correctly, isn't too far out. I think it's only gonna be like 1 or 2 turns of slow crawl.
Tracking on sight.
Let's kind of just move forward, reload, throw an Overwatch, you know. Try to get everybody ready for the next engagement. So it looks like the next pod's actually going to be in that building.
I am nearly upon you.
And that dude talks so much. Just constantly talking. And there it is. There's the next enemy pod. So we have a sectoid, a regular trooper, and a purifier. So shouldn't be too bad. I really debated on taking the sword strike there. Really debated. It's unfortunate that there's only 2 windows. We end up with one person not being able to actually take action against them. The Panda gets sight on the objective. I don't know why I didn't do this, because he could technically go ahead and hack that now. And I probably should have done that. I'm gonna go ahead and have Featherston take up on the other side of that window from nothing. and he still only has vision on 2 of them. Can't really get a good shot off on the sectoid. That's alright though, because in all technical means I should kill the trooper first. And that's exactly what I do. Send nothing in with his sword. And he kills him.
Eso es.
It would be an elegant weapon, were it wielded with grace.
So it's at this point that I realized that Lightmare and not Panda. I don't know. I don't know why I said Panda, but Lightmare and the other specialist there can't really get an angle on any of them. So go ahead and use Panda the Lobber Grenade in at the sectoid there. Get a little bit of damage off. So the further along that we go in this campaign, grenades actually start becoming less and less useful. They're still good. They just end up, like in the beginning, particularly in the beginning, grenades are almost guaranteed kills. And grenades are still good for guaranteed damage, but a lot of the times you won't get guaranteed kills out of them anymore. Now once we get plasma grenades, they're going to be even better at stripping armor, which is one of the biggest uses for them. Exosuits, when we get rockets deal 4 to 7, which is pretty good. So the sectoid did pretty much exactly what we wanted him to, really. Wasted his turn on trying to use psionics. It unfortunately panicked nothing, but it's not that big of a deal. Good old Warlock decides to summon another zombie. And our random gets another Overwatch kill.
Enemy destroyed.
Pretty good. Fortunately, nothing is still panicked. So I end up moving the other specialist up to the other side of that window. And to this point that we still don't really have a good angle on anything. I decided to move Panda in, like literally just inside the window, find full cover, and get the flank shot on the sectoid. And down he goes at critical hit kill. So now all that's left is the purifier. So we jump Featherston in. And this is where I realized that I put Panda in the wrong spot. I thought for sure that full cover that he was behind was going to protect him from that explosion. And it did, essentially. I mean, it didn't, the cover is still alive. I just thought the cover would actually prevent the explosion from injuring Panda. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So I'm sorry, man. I'm bad. I'm so bad. Sorry, I'm trash, dude. You just not necessarily had good luck here lately. So all that's left now is for us to actually kill the Warlock and hack the terminal. I go ahead and have Panda heal himself, I believe is what he just did. Or what he's about to do.
Rolling.
I know I end up having Panda heal himself.
Moving to Overwatch.
Gremlin, get on the
Yeah.
heels.
So I'm not sure what kind of effect that actually has on a soldier's time being out of action. but I feel like if you use heal, it ends up lowering it a bit. So we go for the big thing. We actually got really close to getting it. It's unfortunate that we didn't, but we got the hack off, so that finishes up the actual main objective. The only thing left to do is to neutralize all enemy targets, and in reality, the only thing left is the warlock. Go ahead and reload, Featherston, and get ready for this slow crawl forward of trying to find that last pot of enemies. So I seen the enemy movement detected sound waves coming from that side of the building, so I go ahead and I move over to get ready to go out the window and towards where those sound waves are coming from. But then our friend decides to run up and start having fun.
For I am here now, and a new battle lies before us.
That's one
And
of the
talk
chosen.
a lot. I hate it when he talks because a lot of the times it stops gameplay completely just so that he can talk. So I've got Panda in a situation where he is flanked, so I have to move Panda forward. And Panda really doesn't have a good shot chance against him. And to be entirely honest, he kind of caught us at the perfect timing, really, on his part. No one can really make moves to get close enough to throw grenades. And as we know, that his weakness is shrapnel. So I mean, like, using explosives on him is pretty much the best way for us to get rid of him. I debated on using grapple at this point, but I couldn't necessarily tell where that grapple was going to put him. As far as I could tell, there wasn't a second floor with a balcony or anything for him to stand on, so I couldn't tell exactly where that was going to put him. But when I went up to the third level of look, or third level point of view, I seen that it was actually going to put him on the roof, which is pointless, really. He wouldn't have been able to get anything off that way. So at this point, really the only person that can actually hurt him would be Lightmare because of the grenade launcher. And in hindsight now, thinking about it, I actually could have probably used Demolition and destroyed his full cover. Something that I have recently figured out is that Demolition can actually destroy what is normally considered indestructible cover. So which changes things a little. I valued Demolition more than Suppression before, but that actually makes, to me anyways, Demolition 100 times better than Suppression in that skill choice. So go ahead and use the other specialist to hit him with a grenade as well. Now that leaves him with 3 health. So I know that one more grenade and he's gone. Unfortunately though, Panda and Featherston are kind of out of position to throw a grenade. Another thing is like, looking back on it, once again in hindsight, I probably could have grappling hooked Featherston up onto the second floor and got the kill that way. But no one is in position to get the kill this turn. So I end up, I don't want Panda getting hurt again. So I move Panda out into full cover behind the wall. And that ends up our turn. And he decides to summon an Advent Trooper. We all know how well these go. he generally summons a trooper and it dies instantly. We can't end that storyline now. Has to be the same. So he decides to take a shot at nothing and misses. And ironically, I almost feel like he's a little mad at nothing for slicing his face off the last time that we were with him. But nothing comes back and does it again. And that ends the warlock threat. And we got some loot out of it. So down he goes, and pretty sure that also completes the mission. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure it does. You talk too much, man. I cannot wait to get rid of him. Just to make him shut up. Talks way too much.
We've proven the Chosen can be hurt. Now we just have to work on putting them down for good.
That's 5 more XCOM ability points. Which any soldier can use, actually. Once we get the training center open, those ability points, we can actually start putting those to use. But he also ended our flawless streak as well. So it's now Callie and Panda are the 2 that have been injured. And really, Pandas shouldn't have happened at all. That was a miscalculation on my part about how well that full cover would protect him. I thought for sure, with him being behind full cover, that explosion would not have affected him at all. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. He's alive though, so that's all that matters. It could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse. So we've been lucky enough not to lose anyone. And really, between the 2, Panda and Callie, there was actually a higher chance of us losing Callie when he took that shot than Panda when he was in the blast radius. And the reason for that is that blast radius wouldn't have critted Panda. However, that shot that Callie took could have definitely critted, and if it would have critted it, poor old Callie wouldn't be with us anymore. So we got unlucky. Oh man, Panda's out 17 days. However, he did get a promotion out of it, and we'll just continue right along the medic line and give him revival protocol. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry that you got injured. So now it's time for her to grab Haywire Protocol, and what that's going to do, that's going to allow us to either shut down or take control of mechs. And Featherston actually is able to level up as well. Lightning reflexes are pretty good. That's a pretty good skill. We generally don't let the enemy have the ability to go into Overwatch, but for now we'll go ahead and give him Wrath, which is Justice pulls enemies to him, Wrath pulls him to an enemy. So I really need to start actually working on the Warlock that we have as well. I may try to start putting him into covert ops and try to grab some levels on the Warlock. To be honest, I need to get both a high-level skirmisher and a high-level Warlock. All 3 of the hero classes are pretty useful in their own way. So we'll go ahead and do a few more things on the Avenger real quick, and then I guess we'll cap this episode off. was wanting to try to do some upgrades, but it doesn't look like we have the supplies, and to be honest, we kind of need more energy as well. It's very tempted to upgrade that power relay. Very, very tempted to. Let's take a look at the world map real quick. I'm looking at that low income notification. Got a new scan site for soldiers. Not too concerned with that.
Your victory
Definitely don't need those soldiers as much as we do supplies.
last war that lies
So,
ahead.
I guess we'll get that supply drop scan done within the next couple of days. For now, though, let's go back onto the Avenger. We'll at least get the proving ground built. I struggle a little bit on trying to figure out exactly where I want to place it, and I'm going to rearrange. I'm going to take that gremlin out of there and put him in the power relay, increase our power output, and then we'll build the proving ground or the training center. I have to make that choice. And we gotta figure out exactly where we're gonna put it. To be honest, I should probably put the proving ground beside the workshop, but for now we'll go ahead and stick it up here in the top corner. And I guess with that, guys, we will conclude this episode. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas day, and be careful if you guys have traveled. And I'll see you guys Friday. Till then, guys, take care.